Welcome to Forest Chat, where we talk about individual endeavour in Western Australia, what it takes, what it means, and how you do it. I'm your host, Paul Vandermeer, and in today's episode, we're talking with Neil McDougall about adaptive cycling. Neil started adaptive cycling about 15 years ago, and these days gets onto the adaptive cycle for both road and off-road cycling. Welcome to Forest Chat, Neil.
Hello, it's good to be here.
Thanks for coming on the show, Neil. Neil, what is adaptive cycling?
For me, as a wheelchair-bound person, adaptive cycling is a hand cycle, whether it be road or off-road. Your typical bike is one wheel at the front, two wheels at the back. My bikes, I put my legs either side of the front wheel, which has all the gears and cassette and so forth. And then I sit with the pedals up in my chest area and have the chain going from there down to my feet where the wheel is. And I pedal with my hands instead of my feet, basically. And like for the road bike, I'm virtually laying down. And for the off-road bike, I'm sitting upright, probably a bit lower than what my wheelchair is. But yeah, sort of sit up 90 degrees upright.
So when I saw pictures of your bike or pictures of a bike like the one I saw you riding, it was a bit hard to tell in some of the photos. But if you took a regular bicycle and did a wheel stand and went over and put it upside down, that's pretty much how the chain and gears are arranged, isn't it?
Yes, basically the mechanical stuff is just upside down from a normal bike. And like we use probably like 1.5 chains to get a bit of extra distance between the two. We use all standard gear from a bike shop.
So the wheels and the gearing, obviously, and brakes and all that sort of thing, pretty standard bicycle.
Yeah, it's all you buy it either online or at a bike shop, wherever you want to. Depending on what spec you want to go to.
There's usually a big range of specs available too.
Yes. The more you want to spend, the more you can spend.
The never-ending story with bicycles.
With sports.
Yes, with all sports. You're right. So where's how does that work?
For mine, you steer with the front. You sort of, your hands, you're still steering with your hands. You're just turning it to one side or the other. And my turning circle is a bit more like a truck rather than a sports car. Yeah, still steer with your front.
But you use your hands to do both the drive and the steering.
Yeah. And like your whole front end sort of leans one side or the other, and that's your steering.
Oh, by leaning, okay. So the wheel turns a bit, but it leans as well.
The wheel doesn't turn, the wheel leans.
So do you have to control the balance of the front of the bike then? Because you got the two wheels either side?
They have like a rubber stopper which keeps the front straight, and then as you tip it to one side or the other, that brings it back to the centre if you let it go. Your body stays still, but your hands tilt to the side, one side or the other.
And it will naturally centre itself back up. It's got a mechanism to do that.
Yeah, like it's got a rubber mount like you'd put underneath something to stop it vibrating. I suppose like an engine mount, but it's like it'll stretch when you steer, and when you let go, it'll bring it back to central. But you do it without thinking about it. But if you get out of the bike, that rubber keeps the front end straight. That makes any sense.
It allows you to get your steering in, and it probably explains why you've got such a large turning circle.
Yeah.
And where do you ride?
Generally riding on my road bike. I live about a K down to the cycle paths which take you along the highways around Perth. So generally my road bike, I'll just ride down to the cycle paths and then go wherever I can on the cycle paths. And then for the off-road bike, basically go wherever you want. I go from home out to the Heritage Trail and up the Heritage Trail to Mundaring and come back for a nice morning ride. Otherwise, you go to events where, like down Collie or Nannup, where Collie we do the mountain bike marathon, Nannup we do 7, and we've done other rides down there. I'm going out to Balladoo to do a ride out there in coming months. I'm off to Geraldton next weekend to do the Backroads event.
Yeah, there's some fair old drives out to Geraldton and Balladoo and places like that.
Yes, they will be fair drives. Stay in Geraldton for a couple of nights, and
Yeah, absolutely. It's always good to go away for events.
it is. It is.
Neil, what does it take you to ride an adaptive cycle?
Probably the first thing is the want to do it, the enjoyment to do it. The more you do it, the more you can do, the further you can go, the faster you can go. Like, there are plenty of people out there that I don't know that will ride adaptive cycles to ride with their kids or whatever, whereas I use it to keep fit, be involved with friends, and have a bit of enjoyment with doing time trials with ATA or going to Collie and doing the mountain bike marathon. It's a matter of getting a bike and riding, basically having motivation to get out, do it. Because it's expensive sport, so you need to make the most of what you spend.
Absolutely. I hope everybody's doing that with their sports and their hobbies that they get involved with. So, being a hand cycle, what's the physical demand that it places on you?
Well, like probably the hardest part about hand cycling is the getting in and out of a bike, because that can be quite difficult. And depending on your injury, because all the people that ride hand cycles generally have a spinal injury, and you can be anywhere from a quadriplegic to somebody missing a part of a leg to use a hand cycle. I can only speak for myself. Like, I'm quite a mobile, I suppose, mobile person because like when you get into racing, say the nationals or something like that, you have 4 or 5 grades. You have a H1, H2, H3, H4, and a H5. The H basically stands for hand cycle, and then the number is for what sort of physical abilities you got. H1s will be the quadriplegics, H5s will be somebody missing a lower leg or something like that. So I'm a H4. I'm probably the most able of a wheelchair-bound person, sort of thing. So you got to just get a bike, build some strength, some fitness, and the best way of doing that is to get a bike and to probably start riding hills, to tell you the truth. But even if you can get a bike and ride on the flat and just do a decent sort of distance, it creates a fair bit of strength and fitness.
So, it's a real shoulders and elbows type.
Real shoulders and sort of bicep, tricep type thing. Like, abs don't come in, they do come into it, but not hugely. And the higher your injury, the less of that sort of stuff you'll have to do it. But yeah, it's just a matter of trying it and seeing whether you can, I suppose.
For myself, my upper body has never been the my strongest element, if you know what I mean. I did some working on ropes. That is like mountain climbing, where you tie ropes off, or you might have seen people doing similar things. I didn't do it myself, but ropes over the edge of the building to clean windows, that style of work. And when you do that training, you have to do rescues and that sort of thing. So here's me looking at the instructor. He's doing like handstands and push-ups. And there's no way I could even go halfway lifting myself up normally on my arms. It was just hopeless. So I guess it would make a big difference in that space.
Yes, it does. Yeah, the stronger you make your upper body, the better you'll go at hand cycling. But saying that, now that we've moved into our off-road bikes have moved into power assist. You don't need to be super strong to ride the bikes, but it doesn't hurt to have a bit of strength and fitness behind you.
I'm sure it would hurt afterwards if you don't.
Basically, if like anything, if the more you train, the less it'll hurt.
That's really an important lesson for people, just as a general thing in life, I think, is to understand that you need to use it or you'll lose it.
Pretty much. Basically, what I always say to people is you either get out there and do it or you sit on the couch and get fat.
Yes, and we're not that, so that's a good thing.
I try not to be that.
We've heard what it takes, Neil, to do adaptive cycling. We'll have a break now, and after the break, we'll have a look at what it means. We've heard what it takes, Neil, to be an adaptive cyclist. Now, let's have a look at what it means. Neil, what does it mean to you, your family, or the community that you are an adaptive cycler?
To me, it's all about the enjoyment of getting out there with some friends and having some fun and just knowing life is sort of, no matter what's happening in the background, life's still enjoyable. For my family, they're always praising me of how I've moved on with my life and how they don't know how I do what I do and that sort of thing. And as for the community, it's like, like when I've done Cape to Cape and so those sorts of rides, all the able-bodieds will be riding past calling you a champion or an inspiration and all this sort of stuff. And to us, we're just somebody getting out there and doing the event the same as they are. But yeah, they're always telling you, oh, you're an inspiration. No, I'm just doing it the same as you are. So yeah, I think that's probably the best way of answering that.
So when you're going off to do those events for yourself, what are you actually aiming to do? How do you set goals or do you just get in and have a go?
Generally, our goal is just to finish. There's three of us that sort of are doing well. Like there's more than just the three of us, but there's three of us that sort of do 7. We did the marathon, and we generally just ride together. Like Eric was commentating that we were racing up the hill to the finish line. Really, we'll ride a certain section and then we'll stop and wait for each other to make sure we've got through and so forth. And so we just ride as friends. And then when it gets down to the finish line, we'll try and pip each other across it if we can. So our goal is to just finish the events, and generally we'll try and get as long a distance out of the event as we can. Like when I started off doing mountain bike events with a manual mountain bike, like with the 7 event, I'd do the 50k distance. Now I've moved up and I've got a power assisted bike. I can do the next distance. I can do the 85k distance with more climbing and so forth. And it just brings more enjoyment that way. So yeah, our goal is to just finish basically and just get some enjoyment out, get a laugh with the others and have a beer at the end of it.
So you're building up some good relationships, particularly with a couple of other adaptive cyclists, but also with the likes of Eric, who's been commentating and that sort of thing?
Yeah, well, we met Eric through cycling events. I was thinking about it the other day, where the first one was. I'm not sure whether it was the 24-hour ride of Delirium or we went out and did the Kalgoorlie Classic a couple of times. And then sort of the more events you did, after that we went down and did Cape to Cape and you just bumped into Eric and got to know Brendan and Rebecca. The 2 Margaret River people. They organised 7 and they organised the Delirium 24-hour, which I did a couple of times on my road bike. I'd like to do it again if they were going to organise it. But yeah, you get out and meet more people. The worst thing is, like, every event you get an able-bodied person come up and talk to you and you'll bump into them in the street and they'll go, "Oh, hi, how you going?" You'll be looking at them thinking, "Who the hell is this?" 'Cause you don't recognise them outside their cycling gear.
That's so common, that experience when I've been taking photos at running events and everybody runs past and sees you, and yes, you see everybody running past, but they see one person and I see 100 people or or more.
Yeah, yeah. We tend to stand out, whereas they all sort of blend into one another.
Yeah, that's for sure. And do you target events for who's going along?
Between the three of us or with other people?
For both.
Well, generally, Richard and myself will do most events together. Richard has done other ones that I haven't done, and he's done them with Heidi. I'd say we're the sort of three who probably do the most events at the moment. Other than that, you just turn up and whoever's there's there. Like next weekend when we're going to Geraldton, Richard's going and I'm going. Heidi's decided not to go to this one. So then we're booked in to do Balladoo. I think that's in September. Richard and I are both going. I'm not sure what Heidi's up to. She has done it in the past, but yeah, find out in the day.
Like a lot of running events, you've got a group of people and some go to some and they don't all make it to everything.
Yeah, pretty much. Like I've missed a few, and Heidi, she generally has a concert to go to or something. And Richard just can't get enough of cycling. He's doing cyclocross and stuff these days, which I've decided to just, I'll give that one a miss.
Yeah, cyclocross, that sounds like it's another step up.
Yeah, he's got a different bike which can do a lot sharper turns. So his bike's more suited to it. So I just leave him to it and gives me an excuse to sit on the couch for a morning and watch the football.
So we've heard what it means that Neil is able to be an adaptive cyclist. We'll have a break now, and after the break, we'll have a look at how you do it. We've heard what it means that Neil can be an adaptive cyclist. Now, let's have a look at how you do it. Neil, if somebody wanted to become an adaptive cyclist, how would they get into it?
Well, there's a couple of ways. First, I'd probably start with a road bike, which, yeah, best way of going would be to go see Rebound, talk to Hayden down at Rebound, and they have 2 or 3 hand cycles there which you can hire. The hire is just to cover the cost of the bikes and repairs and so forth, so it's not expensive, and they've got them sitting around and they'll be quite actually happy if you got them out of their office, I think. But yeah, if you go and see them and get the experience of getting in and out of the bike and riding the bike and see how you feel with it. Otherwise, for off-road bikes, there's a charity sort of group which is called Break the Boundaries. And that's out at, I think it's Kalamunda, the camel farm or something like that. I've not been involved with them personally, but they do have a number of bikes out there, and they also do trail running with people. So you can go out see them, and they do monthly rides or something for just a short, not even sure the distances, just a short ride with a group of people. And it's all about getting people the first step into hand cycling or adaptive cycling of whatever, adaptive mountain biking, I should say. But yeah, I'd say go see them, see whether you really want to do it. And then if you've decided you want to make the move into buying a bike, it's going to be all about whether you go new or second hand. Second hand is obviously going to be cheaper. New is quite expensive, but you've either got to find the money yourself or approach some sort of fundraising, whether it be GoFundMe or whatever you want to do to just to whip around with friends. I know people have done quiz nights and so forth to pay for bikes and so that sort of thing. But yeah, there is online on Facebook. There's like Hand Cycle Marketplace where you can pick up second-hand bikes,
So it sounds like there's a few different ways you can approach getting into a bike and at least having a go with rebound and then with the group up at the,
Break the boundary.
yeah. So that gives you a few options to try it out. And if you're going with a road cycle, then cycle paths all over the place are suitable for you.
Perth's very good these days.
Yeah, there've been some amazing improvements, like all the way up and down the freeway. When we drive up from Australind and you see people on bike down around Mandurah and that sort of thing,
Yeah, I've ridden from home to Mandurah before.
it's a good distance. It's all connected. When you go off to do the mountain biking, I'm aware that Collie has some adaptive trails around Arklow.
They do. They've done a lot of good work to create adaptive trails for us, yes. Unfortunately, don't get down there enough.
Yeah, it's a lovely spot, except at the moment it's a tad cool.
Yeah, now it's cold enough up here, never alone down there.
Are there other places that have got adaptive trails for mountain bikes?
I can't tell you the truth. I know Collie's. I think Collie's about the best. Like, if you're gonna go, for me to go by myself, I probably wouldn't because if you do get stuck somewhere, it's very difficult to get out. So it is preferable to have an able-bodied person with you, just in case you do not quite make that corner and you do end up going down a hill or getting stuck somewhere. It is a good idea if you're going out for just a social ride to have, or just a ride, just to have someone with you if you're off road. Whereas the road version, you can sort yourself out. With the off road, I think Collie is probably the best. I do believe there are other places, but I don't know off the top of my head. From home, I'll just take the bike and ride up the Heritage Trail up to Kalamunda, do the loop, maybe even come back through the Glen Forest National Park. Otherwise, like there's sort of trails off to the side of them, which I keep thinking, oh, I should go up there, but I'm a bit sort of nervous about getting stuck or getting to a cliff or something, which I can't turn around at or something silly.
I didn't ask that question. Do they have reverse?
No, pretty much your reverse is either because I got my two rear wheels are virtually sort of at my back, so you grab them and you just pull them back to reverse up. Otherwise, no, no. There are trails around the camel farm where break the boundaries are, but I haven't been up there to ride them. Like I do a lot of road riding with the ATA group, the Australian Time Trials Association, and they have a little mountain bike course which they do, and they made sure because Richard and I are involved with ATA, they made sure that it was suitable to take hand cycles on as well. So you can go do that as well if you want, because you see the ATA people at all the mountain bike events. I'd say Collie's the best place, but if you go by yourself, you going just for a Sunday ride, you need to have an able-bodied person with you.
Yeah, that's for the mountain bike side. Yeah, that's understandable.
That's for the mountain bike. For the road bike, you can basically get out and sort yourself out. If you get a flat, you just get out, fix it, and get back in. You'll generally have somebody who'll stop and help you if you're having any trouble. Find people are good like that.
The cycling community is quite good that way generally, isn't it?
Yeah, I find they are, yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Neil, for talking to us about being an adaptive cyclist. Is there something that's next for you in your adaptive cycling?
Next for me, well, like Geraldton and Bellado are the next couple. Like I've done Geraldton before, but I did it in a manual bike. It's all off me. I can't remember whether it's 50 or 60k distance. And this year we're going up there and we lined ourselves up to do the 100k distance, but we've got power assist this time, and a couple of batteries, so we should get that done pretty easy. And then Balladu, I've not done it before. Richard's done it a couple of times. We're doing that. and it's basically whatever we can. Like we both did the Nationals this year, just gone, and I'm hoping to get my arm right to do it again this coming January. So it's just the next event, whatever the next event is, we'll line up and see if we can do it.
So the nationals you talk about are the national road cycling.
The national road cycling, yeah. Richard and I competed up there. We actually come one and two, but we're the only two riding. So
You made it.
in our class, I should say.
Perfect. You couldn't get a better result.
Oh, that's it. You got to be out there got to be doing it to get it. So I suppose.
Exactly. All right. Thank you very much, Neil. And all Forest.chat listeners wish you all the best with your future endeavours.
Okay, thank you very much. Nice to be talking with you.
Thank you. You've been listening to Forest.chat, where we talk about individual endeavour in Western Australia, what it takes, what it means, and how you do it. I'm your host, Paul Vandermeer, and in today's episode we talked with Neil McDougall about adaptive cycling. Remember, there are 4 ways to get involved with Forest.chat. Go to Forest.chat to sign up for emails and find out about upcoming episodes. Go to forest.chat/episodes to listen to the existing episodes. If you do something interesting and want to be a guest on Forest.chat, go to forest.chat/interview. If you want to support a local business, go to forest.chat/advert. I'm looking forward to joining you in our next episode. Until then, enjoy making it happen.